This is the Chris Allen MMA show. Today I'm being joined by one of the UK's top up-and-comers at the moment. He's in Cage Warriors. He's undefeated. He's only 22. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe even 21. It is
22.
What is it? Is it 22 now? Is it
22? Yeah, 22.
He's 22. He's getting there. It's James the Honey Badger Hendin. How you doing, mate? Okay.
Mate, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Do you still go by the Honey Badger, by the way? I'm seeing a few people forgetting to mention that sometimes.
Yeah, no, they did. They were, but then I was like, I didn't really like it, to be honest with you. It was kind of like, it was a nickname. Obviously, that was given to me because like how aggressive I can be when it in terms of my style. But then I was like, oh, Honey Badger, it's a bit fucking. I don't know. I didn't really like it.
Fair enough. Who gave it to you? How did it come around?
Do you know what? Funny enough, it was actually my uncle who gave me the name. My uncle gave me it. Then I mentioned to one of my coaches, and he said to me, he was like, "Do you know what? That's actually quite fitting. We'll use that." And I was like, I didn't really think about it at the time. I was like, yeah, just use it. But then it was like, as it kind of like started getting into more of my pro career, I didn't really like it. I was like, oh, I think I might just cut it. I just want to be known as just James Hendin now. I prefer that. Yeah.
James, get me a twister Hendin. That's what they should call him.
Get me a cinnamon bun.
That was it. I remember that. I think it wasn't your last fight. It was the fight before. I saw you, and obviously you won because you're undefeated. But you said you had a sore mouth or something like that, and you had a cinnamon bun. You couldn't even eat the thing.
No, my mouth was pretty bad after that for a few weeks, and I was struggling to eat actually. So, but now I can eat cinnamon buns perfectly fine. So it's all good. It's all good.
I wonder how you stay the weight you are, man. I really do. I know after I spoke to you, you're on your way to get a twister from the bloody supermarket.
Do you know what? I've actually been way more disciplined this time. Way more disciplined. Like since all this, like obviously, because I fought. When did I last fight? I fought a few weeks ago. It must have been about 6 weeks ago now. And mate, I literally had I ate what I wanted for about 2 days after that fight, and I just got straight back to eating just clean again, just super clean, mate. Just, I just feel so much healthier, and I'm ready for the call whenever Cage Warriors want me, So it's all good.
You're quite lucky though, weren't you? To be fair, you got a fight in just as all this madness was starting to happen. So that must be nice.
Yeah, no, it was sweet getting a fight. I'm happy. I'm actually really happy that Cage was able to make that happen. Obviously all the stuff that happened within London, we're meant to be fighting there. Then it got moved to Manchester. It was a bit of a head case really, but it was all worth it in the end. We got that win, and so it was all good.
Yes, and there's a lot to go through as well, because at the end of the day, you're fighting one of the most experienced people you fought in your career. You know what I mean? A lot of fights.
Yeah, definitely, mate, definitely. But like I say, you just got to think about the fight at the end of the day. It doesn't matter where it is, when it is. All that matters is just getting that win. So turn up and just put on a show, and so it was good. It was good fun.
Yeah, mate, it's nice to see you still winning, absolutely perfect pro career you've got at the moment. Most of it is in Cage Warriors. You had one fight, a Fight Star, but then obviously the rest you've grown through Cage Warriors. And mate, you look at a lot of pros your age, and they're growing through regional shows and stuff at the moment, mate. But how lucky do you feel though that you've had the opportunity so early just to grow your career through something as big as Cage Warriors, and at such a young age, man?
Yeah, no, I feel super lucky. I feel fortunate, mate. I'm glad that I've been given this opportunity to be on this super high platform and show off the skills that I've got. In a lot of my fights so far, I've only really, my last previous fights have all been decisions, but where I've moved back home to my original camp that I was at, I feel like I've grown loads as well. I feel like they understand me and my style of fighting, and I feel like in my last performance I got to show how well rounded my actual control and my grappling was, and I've dedicated that to moving back up home and training at TFT and with Andrew Fisher. I feel like it just got leaps and bounds, considering about my last fight. I just feel like I've done so much better, so much better. So I was happy with that.
Yeah, man. Well, your grappling's always been on point anyway, mate. You've had fantastic ground game. You've got fantastic stand up as well. But most people your age, well, my age even, sorry, there wasn't really much wrestling around at that time. It was more stand up and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So you feel happy you've got that under your belt now, which is probably the toughest thing for us Brits to learn, really, is the wrestling side of it.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I mean, I think that there is tons of great grapplers in the UK though. Even in MMA, even in like in MMA, there's tons of great like UK grappling guys. I just feel like like you say, I was quite fortunate at a young age to start with with judo, so I had really good like grappling fundamentals. So I think the biggest thing that you get from grappling at a young age, I think you get that strength that no one else really has if you start with striking. But like when you start with grappling, you develop this strength that is super hard to develop later on in life. And I think that's what helps a lot coming into MMA, of like how strong you are and how well you are able to control like and manipulate someone else. So I feel like that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, how you manipulate people on the ground is unreal. Like, I was watching your last fight, and it's almost like Khabib style, you know, like you're using all four limbs, you know, like they're individuals. It's quite crazy to watch, mate, you know.
Yeah,
it showed well when you controlled in Chris Edwards, and again, you said about your judo, you definitely showed some of your judo. Fantastic takedown your last fight as well when you had you up against the cage, man. That was quality. I thought you were going to roll over. I thought, no, get back on. And you did, obviously, you got back on.
Yeah. There was a slight overextension when I threw him. I needed to drop my weight a little bit lower so that it stopped me preventing the roll over the top. But yeah, I managed to get on top, so it was pretty sweet throw.
Yeah, mate. As I said, it must be nice, obviously, to get a win against such an experienced person. You know, it's your fifth pro fight, and it was with a lot of messing around. Like, you must have been thinking this might not even happen, this fight.
Yeah, no, I definitely did think that at maybe like 2 weeks out, like I say, and then obviously the UFC got cancelled and things like that were happening. And I was like, oh no, this is definitely not going to happen. But then, like I say, Cage Warriors, they managed to pull it out of the bag, didn't they? Got it moved to Manchester. Yeah, and it was sweet. Like I actually really enjoyed fighting in that arena with no one there. It kind of made me feel like I was fighting just back in the gym, you know, like with not many people round and stuff like that. So there's no like added pressure to perform because no one else is there really. Obviously you got like thousands of people watching online, but you forget about that stuff. So fighting in there, it was a pretty cool experience. I mean, not many people are going to be able to say that they got to fight in like an arena with no one there. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, but it also probably helps you can hear your coach a bit better as well.
Yeah, well, half the time I can't even understand what my coach is saying. He speaks too fast.
Was that Fisher?
Fisher, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what? My brain ain't working. I interviewed someone the other day who trains at the same gym as you. He fights in bet. I can't remember who it is now. It's not Chadwick, huh?
Cal Eleanor.
No, it wasn't Eleanor. No, yeah, it wasn't here. Oh, there was someone who trains with you guys and Fisher and everyone. Oh no, Perry Goodwin.
Oh, Perry Goodwin. Yeah, Perry Sound. Yeah, Perry.
Yeah,
he's got the ultimate moustache. I think he shaved it off. He shaved it off now.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I spoke to him the other day, and his hair's growing. I said, "Oh, you got hair?" Because I don't recognise you. Do you know what I mean? No, he's a good player. He's doing big things as well in the sport as well.
Really big things, you know, like how well he's come on. He's gone through like 3 weight divisions, mate, or something like that in MMA. You know, I think he started at welterweight, then lightweight, done really well at lightweight, and he was like, you know, about time he came down to his real fighting weight, obviously featherweight, and now he's doing big moves. I think he's on to I think he might be on that next title shot or one of them top contenders, you know, maybe Sharia or something like that.
But yeah, man, he's coming off some nice wins as well, man. Do you know what I mean? But I said if you're both up there, sort of thing. Obviously, it must be nice. How do you feel getting to train with him as well? Because he's obviously a similar weight class to you, but probably a lot bigger because he's coming down a lot. Is that helpful working with?
Yeah, he is big. He is he is quite big. He's taller than me. He is taller than me. I mean, but I'm quite a short ass anyway in the division, so you know. But yeah, no, I feel fortunate to train with him. Like I say, he's been around the block. You know what I mean? He's super experienced. Great striking, great jiu-jitsu. But yeah, like I feel fortunate to train with all the guys at TFT. Everyone there's like world class, mate. You know, everyone. And there's people there that are like amateur, like the amateurs, mate, that we've got at TFT. When they turn pro, honestly, big things are going to happen, mate. Trust me. The amateur team that we've got at TFT is insane, mate.
Well, it's that new breed of fighters coming through, and you fall into that category as well. You know, you're the young breed coming through, but you can even see yourself. You're 22 years old, and you can still see how the sport's evolving from these amateurs. Do you know what I mean?
It's crazy, mate. Like I say, like when I was starting the sport, I mean, like you say, I'm still young in the sport, only being 22, but we got guys there that are like 16, 17, 18, 19, even younger than that. And you see them and you're just like, Jesus, man, I wish I was that well-rounded at their age, you know? Like, they're just, insane, mate. They're going to do big things when they start turning pro. Big things.
Do you find it helps though, like they were able to come into the sport, maybe yourself similar, learning MMA as a whole, opposed to being very good at an individual discipline and then trying to mix it all together? They actually come in and learn mixed martial arts as one.
I think it goes hand in hand. I think it all depends on the person really, because I mean, you got to look at it like this. Look at like George St. Pierre, for instance. Look how well-rounded he is. Like, and he comes from like a karate background. Like he like mastered the art of karate before he obviously mastered the art. Well, he wouldn't say mastered, but done super well in like MMA. And like he needed that. I feel like having that martial arts background, I feel like it helps so much in like, it just sets good guidelines when it comes to MMA. I just feel like being able to like be good at one element of the sport first, and I think you don't have to worry about anything else really. I just feel like being able to coming into MMA, being good at one thing, I think that does help loads.
Well, especially if it's something like wrestling, like you've got as well, because you can just you can take the fight wherever you want as well. And look at, but then you look at St. Pierre. You said karate background, but look at his ground game. It was unbelievable.
Exactly, mate. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, there's still time. Like, but he's, I mean, he's a freak athlete, like, but he obviously. I remember I actually watched something on him the other day. He was like, a lot of people don't do this. Like, a lot of professional fighters, they're just happy to stick to training with their everyday sort of like training partners. They don't want to sort of like venture out and train with the best. And that's why he was saying that's why he would go over and train with the Danaher Death Squad, because they were like the best at their individual sport. And that's why he'd go and train with like these Russian wrestlers, mate, because he was saying like they're the best at their sport. And they'd go to Wild Card Boxing Gym because obviously Freddie Roach, he's the top dog in his sport, like the best coach in boxing. I feel like that helps a lot, being able to like learn from these greats, like the individuals, like master an individual thing like art, instead of trying to like cram it all in at once. I think actually individually learning it, I think probably is better though.
That's interesting, mate, to hear. But so what was, if you don't mind me asking, what was your timeline then of events? Like from, I don't know, from sitting in front of a TV and going, what is that happening on there? Who's punching and kicking, to where you are now? And like, how did all that happen?
So basically I started with judo.
How old were you?
I started at 4.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I started judo at 4. Done judo, got into the English squad, the GB junior squad, competed in Europe, and then we moved from down south up north, and then I think I was 15, but at the time I was like boxing a couple times a week, doing a little bit of freestyle wrestling just to help with my judo.
What got you in? What like took you to that from judo? What introduced you to that, boxing and grappling?
Well, my dad was like a really good boxer, like back in the day. Like he used to train like his regimental like army boxing team. Yeah. So my dad boxed in the army, and I always had like a weird obsession with boxing. Like obviously you want to be like your dad, don't you? You look up to your dad, and obviously I always used to look up to him, and I wanted to be a boxer. So I wanted to do that, but then my mum was like, "Oh, I don't really want you getting punched in the face, blah blah blah. So we'll put you into grappling instead." So that's how I got into judo. Then I started boxing when I got a little bit older. My dad was like, "Oh, if you want to do it, like, I can't really stop you," you know what I mean? So I got to like, I think it was like 12, 13. I started boxing maybe once a week. And then I started kickboxing a little bit at like 14. And then, like, so I moved up north. And I remember like for one of my Christmases, I think I was like, when I was like 14 years old or something, I got some of the UFC DVDs for Christmas. I got the old like it was like the Lyoto Machida, like the Lyoto Machida era, mate, when he was king. Yeah. And I watched them and I was like, this is some crazy shit. Like, I want to get into this. And that's how, when I moved up here, I was like, right, I'm just going to do MMA now. That's how I got into it.
Fair enough, mate. It's good, and it's good that you had that level of experience of competition at such a young age as well. As you said, you must feel like you might be 22 years old, but you probably feel quite highly experienced in the martial arts world.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've competed my whole life, mate. You know, like I said, I've competed my whole life. Like I've been doing martial arts since I was 4 years old, mate. So, like, that's not an issue at all. Like competing's, I enjoy it. It's something that I thrive for.
It's good to see, because a lot of people, you know, it's funny. I started judo when I was about 3 or 4 years old. I still got a picture of me in my blue belt or yellow belt. I think I got to blue belt in the end, but then I was going to say I found women in alcohol, mate. Unfortunately, so how did most of the people I know like got scouted for Chelsea, for Arsenal, you know, and all this stuff, but then they turn 16 and get pissed, and then they lose everything, you know? How did you? I'm not trying to say you're that type of person, but how did you get away from those sort of temptations of growing up and stuff and things like that?
I mean, I was quite fortunate. I felt like that because obviously I was quite athletic and I was quite good at the sport, and I just had a dream I always wanted to like achieve. I was never happy just to be like everyone else. I always thought for myself that I've always got something to prove. I want to be better than everyone else, and that's what it is. It stuck in my head when everyone was going out drinking, partying, and stuff like that. Like my parents like kept me on the straight and narrow, mate. They're like, right, training here, you got training here, you got competition here, you got competition there, you need to train for this, you need to train for that. So they kept me on the straight and narrow as well. But like I say, I always felt like I always felt like I was going to be better than everyone else. I wanted to be better than everyone else. So I feel like that's probably what it is. And just martial arts, mate. Just wanted to learn, just wanted to get better. You know, like I've seen what alcohol and like hard drugs do to people in this day and age, mate. It messes everyone up. So like, why would I want to be part of that? I don't want to be part of that circle.
No, you're right. Unless you're John Jones, you get away with it and still win titles. I don't know how he does it, but yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Genetics, mate. Genetics.
Exactly. I'll never forget that time where Daniel Cormier says, "You fought me, you know, the weekend before." No, John Jones said the weekend before I was high on cocaine, I was drinking alcohol, and I still fucking knocked you out. And I was like, mate.
And I still whooped your ass. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I'd like to see a trilogy with them, to be honest with you.
Would you? What weight class? Like heavyweight or light heavyweight?
Nah, light heavy.
I think Daniel Cormier is not going anywhere near that.
I don't think he is either. He just wants Stipe, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. He fought Stipe last time and thought he could put his hands down against a heavyweight, and that didn't work out, did it?
Oh my god, them body shots were lethal, absolutely lethal.
Yeah, man, but that's MMA, mate. That's why we love the sport, man. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, man. Like, it's just one of the fastest growing sports in the UK, mate, and what a great time to be part of it, you know?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely, mate.
And it must be obviously being Cage Warriors for a while now. You say you got 4 wins in Cage Warriors, and you know when I really saw you come out was when you fought Kingsley. Like I know you said you weren't happy with that performance, but when you fought Kingsley Crawford at the time, I was like, Kingsley Crawford is a serious opposition. You know, this is going to be like the fight where if you win this, then it's just the only way is up. You know.
Yeah. Now, things that a lot of people don't know. I had a staph infection. I had a really bad staph infection 2 weeks out from that fight, mate.
Oh, shit.
So I was on antibiotics leading up to the week of that fight, mate. You know, so I was drained going into that fight. So that definitely wasn't I was only 50% in that fight as well. That's why I'm not happy about my performance. But because I'm a perfectionist at the end of the day, I always want to do everything 100%, do the best of my ability, and I just know that wasn't the best of my ability.
So what did you take from that, or was it just more the fact that you were more 100% in your next fight, or did you take any learning and then take it into the Jordan Barton fight?
No, I definitely took
because Jordan Barton was undefeated at the time.
Yeah, he had one. I think he had one draw, didn't he, or something like that? Yeah, one draw. Yeah, he was a big guy as well. He was massive. No, I didn't really take anything out of the Kingsley fight, to be honest with you. I mean, I had to dig deep into the trenches. We cracked me some hard punches, but like I say, I was 50%. The thing I can take out of that fight is that I know that I can go through hell and come out, on top. And that's what happened in the Kingsley fight. And I knew that, Jordan's gonna have to he's gonna have to fucking knock me out to take me out of that fight. And obviously he didn't, and I got the win. So I know that I can, yeah, exactly. I know I can go through hell, mate, and come out on top and be victorious. So it's all good.
That's it, mate. It's all good. It's the most important thing, getting the W's, for sure. And you're doing it in a dominating style as well, especially when you get them down, you smother them like anything. They don't know what to bloody do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, no, it's fantastic, mate. It's just, and I'm sure I said you're so close to finishes in those fights, you know, so close at times as well, man. But it is what it is. It's MMA. You fought top opposition, mate, and they know what they're doing on the ground. They're no journeyman.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah, especially that last guy, man. I think he's like a brown belt in BJJ as well. Like, he comes from a sick gym in Wales, you know. Like, he's got a few boys in there that are like, were either in the UFC or are in the UFC. Like, Jack Shaw trains out of that gym and stuff like that, you know. They're no joke, you know. Great gym.
Do you feel? Don't take this disrespectfully at all, but do you feel sometimes these boys they're trying to maybe chuck you to the wall sometimes? You know, like, do you feel like you're feeling like they might think you're the underdog, get a win for this guy or anything like that? Because sometimes I look at it and think, like, you deserve these fights, you know, you really do. But I'm thinking, are you just trying to stitch this guy up or something? Because he will win.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
mate, listen, I don't mind, mate. They can throw me whoever they want to throw me. I know that I'm going to come out on top, mate. So let them keep throwing all these guys at me. It doesn't matter. Like,
literally on top, man.
Yeah, mate. Literally on top. Yeah, literally on top, mate. Literally. So they can just keep throwing these guys at me. I'm not too fussed, mate. Like, obviously, I've got people. There's people in my eyes who I want to fight. I've got a few people in mind who I'd like to go in there and fight. Obviously, probably number one on my hit list at the moment, Sharia. I'd like to fight Sharia. Yeah, definitely. I don't think he's all that what he makes out to be honest with you.
Well, there is your division is full of some good fighters, man. I was going to ask who you'd like to fight next. I know you're not someone to, you know, call people out and all that sort of stuff, you know, mate. But you must be looking higher now. No disrespect to your opponents, you know, top ranked guys in Cage Warriors at the moment.
Yeah, no, I want, like I say, mate, like, keep them coming. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm only 22 years old. Every single fight is going to be experience in my eyes. Like, all I need to concentrate on is winning. But like I say, regarding opponents, I'd like to fight Sharia, definitely. Like to fight Sharia.
Then after that, Mads Burnell, yeah?
Mads Burnell. Let's get Mads Burnell, yeah.
Mate, I reckon you can hang with these guys, man. Honestly, like, I'm not just trying to crawl up your ass. I personally think from the way you're fighting, the competition you're fighting, why not chuck you a title shot, mate?
Yeah, why not? But I think, obviously, I've still got one more fight left in my contract. Hopefully, I can get a new contract sorted out with Cage Warriors, and then we can be looking at them bigger fights. You know, like, I felt like I was ready for them fights, mate. When I was wanting to fight Sharia, mate, when he fought what's his name? That other guy from Denmark or something like that. He's in Bellator now. When he came in and fought for the title.
Jakobsen, was it?
No,
wrong weight. That's lightweight.
What's his name? He did fight for lightweight title though. That's who he fought. Was it lightweight or featherweight? Which one
was it? That Alexander Jacob? I can't ever say his name.
No, I think he lost, but I just watched that fight and I was thinking, man, that fight is dog shit. It was a pretty dog shit fight. Who was it? I can't. But anyway, I can't remember.
Where's he ranked roughly at the moment?
Who? Sharia?
Yeah.
Well, he was meant to fight for the interim title, wasn't he? Against some.
That was it.
Yeah, he was meant to fight for the interim title, so he's number one contender at the moment. Number one, but I don't know what's happening with Mads. I don't know what Mads is doing or what's happening with him. You know, so I feel like the division has got great fighters there, but it's kind of gone a bit stagnant. We're kind of like waiting on people now. So it's like we don't know what's really next. So
that's it, mate. But at the end of the day, mate, Cage Warriors they were going to put lots of events on this year. God, when I saw the list come out for Cage Warriors, I thought, God, you guys can fight every week. You know, it must be lovely, and it must be quite nice to be with an organisation as well, which, you know, it's got close ties with people like the UFC and stuff like that. You know, Graham Boylan's a top bloke as well, and he quite happy will see his fighters, you know, move on to bigger and better things. You know, it must be nice knowing that there's that sort of person behind you as your boss who's not going to hold you back and want to keep you with him. You know, if a big opportunity comes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in my eyes, I want to be in the UFC, and I know one day I'm going to get there. Just got to beat these guys in front of me at the moment. Whoever Cage Warriors keep putting in front of me, just keep on winning. Just keep on winning, mate. That's all that matters.
That's what it's all about, mate. Look. I think we're over 100 fighters nearly now of people who've gone from Cage Warriors to UFC, mate. You know, it is crazy, man. And it must be quite cool when I'm sitting there and I'm watching UFC, put UFC Fight Pass on and just type in James Hendin. It's like, oh, there he is. Pops up on UFC Fight Pass, man. That's got to be a milestone on its own.
Yeah, it definitely is, mate. It's pretty dope. It is pretty dope. Yeah, it's cool, mate.
Where can I see your fights, James? Oh, UFC Fight Pass?
UFC, UFC. Just tune into UFC Fight Pass.
It's quality, man. It's quality, mate. That's one of the main reasons I have Fight Pass, because obviously we get all the Cage Warriors fights now.
Get all the Cage Warriors fights. Yeah, there's loads of good stuff in that Fight Pass. You get all the jiu-jitsu things on there, which is cool. Also, you get all the UFC things.
They put Grapple Fest on there. What's not Grapple Fest? What's the one they put on there?
Isn't it that Sub Underground? What's it called? The Chael Sonnen's one.
Yeah, that one. There's Polaris as well, I think one's called. And
Quintet's on there.
That's it, yeah. There's so many, man. Like,
yeah, it's
crazy. What I do like watching is the old Muay Thai sometimes, mate. That's a brutal sport, mate.
Yeah, Muay Thai is cool. I prefer watching, to be honest, mate, I prefer watching Glory kickboxing. It's a little bit more high pace.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I prefer watching Glory kickboxing. To be fair, outside of MMA, that's probably like my second favourite thing to watch is like Glory kickboxing. I think it's so good, mate. Cedric Doumbé is a beast, knocking everyone out in Glory, mate. He's a beast.
So again, as I said, you were in that world a little while before, and said, I'm sure, I don't know, God forbid you stop doing MMA. I know you never will. Would kickboxing be something you'd like to go back to?
I mean, yeah, I think I would definitely would like to. Definitely. I mean, I'm always going to be within martial arts like my whole life, mate. There's no way on hell I want to ever stop doing martial arts and fighting and things like that. But I think I'd like to probably compete in jiu-jitsu more, to be honest with you. I feel like save them brain cells and compete in jiu-jitsu. I think there's more to it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but what would that be? A bit of gi, no gi?
No gi. I like no gi. More realistic in my eyes.
Yeah, I was watching a gi competition. Like, watch this choke I'm about to put on. I was like, you're choking him with his jacket, like his gi. I'm like, yeah. But obviously, don't get me wrong. I did think like 2 lessons of jiu-jitsu one time, right? I'm a lazy bastard, by the way. And I thought I learned everything from listening to Joe Rogan, but it's so fucking complex, man.
Mate, there's so much to it. You got like hundreds of different like styles of jiu-jitsu. Like fucking, there's like you got like the new school, the new sort of like the new era of jiu-jitsu. You got like the old school like smash pass, Brazilian style, sort of like, it's crazy, mate. There's so much to it. It's a crazy art, mate, and it's like ever growing as well. Like there's new techniques coming out on like a weekly basis, mate, as well. And you've got it's like, we're so fortunate in this day and age to be able to like pick up loads of little things. You could see a video, save that video, but oh cool, I want to try that with a training partner, and it could work for you. So
and then you look, cool. And then look, these Amis are learning it at the same time you guys are as well, but at a younger age. It's just nuts.
It is crazy, mate. It is crazy. That's why the sport's so good, because it's just growing. It's just growing. It's, growing at this crazy rate. So it's awesome.
That's it, mate. And I'll tell you what, Cage Warriors is, some people call it a university towards big things, but in my eyes, mate, Cage Warriors is probably one of the biggest organisations in Europe, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. Well, I mean, look at the stops they had to pull out just to get that last show. They didn't have to do that. They could have just followed suit and cancelled on that show, but they managed to pull out the stops for everyone and get us on that card and move it to Manchester, so all the boys could fight on the card. So it was great.
That's it. I think I spoke to one guy, I think it was at Night of Champions, said, so like, I think, who was it? He won the title, and he was like, do you feel like you're in the UFC now? You feel like you get to the UFC now? And he was like, well, I just got interviewed by Edith LaBelle. She used to be in the UFC. I was like, well, I guess that's getting there. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, but man, I think Cage Warriors put on a great show, mate. I love coming down and see all their fights. I think Night of Champions was the interesting one because it was about 100 degrees in that room, wasn't it?
Oh my God, it was like, I think how hot was it actually that day? I think it must have been
40. It hit 40. When I was in the car driving through Hammersmith, it was 43, and I thought, right, because there's buildings all around me. Do you know what I mean? When I stopped, it went to 40. I was like, do you remember when that room you came down and spoke to us in?
Yeah.
That room was like an oven, man. I was melting everywhere.
I remember just before the medical, everyone who was fighting was waiting outside, and there was like no shade at all, and everyone who was fighting, mate, was just getting absolutely like baked from the sun, mate. It was ridiculous, and we were like meant to be fighting in like an hour's time or something like that, and we just all stood outside just getting frazzled by the sun. It was crazy. It was so hot that day. mental.
It's draining as well, man. When you get that hot, and especially when you guys are trying to bloody rehydrate and everything properly.
Yeah.
It's just like,
because you're
get me out of this.
constantly sweating. You need to save all that. You need to save all the liquid inside you for the, like you say, for the hydration. You don't want to be dehydrated going in there, considering you've done the weight cut the day before as well. So it was crazy hot that day. Crazy.
Yeah, man.
Hot.
It was funny when there was fighters walking around, obviously before the fight. We're like, "You right, mate?" Like, cause obviously we chat to them in the past. They're like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Like, you've definitely got the ump. It's hot, innit? It's hot. It's just shit.
Hot. Yeah, get me an ice cream.
Yeah, that's what you would have done. Next time they should bring them. But to be fair to them, that every hour, Cage Warriors kept bringing big bottles of water in, like individual bottles for us all to have and stuff. So it's fair enough.
Sweet. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. So, mate, I'm just trying to think now, like, how long are we going to be stuck in this situation? Like, it's tough for people like yourself. You fight quite actively. You're coming off a win. So, first of all, it must be nice coming off a win, being in lockdown. The last thing we'll do is come off a loss and be sitting there mulling it over. Like, oh, I've got to get this win back. But when can I get this win back?
Yeah. Well, I know that Cage Warriors have got a card in August and they've got one in November now. They announced that like a few weeks ago. Well, the one they got moved into to October and November. I think the October is Manchester and November is London. So I've got my eyes set on either one of them, whatever they want to do. Definitely would like to fight on them. If not both of them, it'd be pretty cool. I'd like to fight on both of them, to be honest with you. But yeah, like just keep training, mate. Like I say, we haven't got access to the gyms at the moment, so just make do of what you've got. Still training like 2-3 times a day. Whether or not that's circuits, runs, sprints, whatever, you just got to make do what you've got.
That's it, mate. And some fighters are quite fortunate. They have their parents as their father, like yourselves, their coach who lives with them, their head coach, and they can do mitts. Like I was talking to Modestus, he's in UFC now. He can just train with his old man every day, who's his head coach.
I think he's got a private gym as well, Modestus.
Yeah, I think he does actually in his back garden. Where it is. And obviously you've got, do you have George and Harry Hardwick? They're in Bellator.
Yeah, Middlesbrough boys, yeah.
Yeah. So they obviously can train with each other at home and all that sort of.
Yeah.
I had one to chat the other day. I had both their heads in front of me. It was quite interesting. But yeah, but I said, you're all just fighting. You're all young and you're all fighting in these top organisations. It's just nice to see, more British names coming through, because for a long time we just had, Bisping, Brad Pickett, Ross Pearson. Bisping did big things in the end, win a title, but we've never had a solid British dominance in like UFC or these places as well. So is that the next step then, yeah, mate? You take over.
100%.
That's it, man. Well, before I let you go, mate, I just want to ask you one thing. Obviously, we got UFC this weekend. Thank God. Do you know what I mean?
Thank all the gods, mate, for that. Yeah, thank all the gods.
Thank God for that. Just give us a prediction, mate, on the main event.
Ferguson, TKO.
You reckon TKO? Because I've got people saying that Ferguson's just going to pick him apart and bleed him, for like 5 rounds. Or
I don't think Gaethje's got 5 rounds in him, mate. I know Gaethje likes doing like a 10-11 week camp, and he's only done a 5-week camp, so I don't think he's got 5 rounds in him, mate. I think he's only got a good solid 2 rounds in him. Not even 2, maybe 1 round. He's going to come out swinging, try and chin him. I think Tony's going to maybe shoot. He's just going to play it smart, keep on the end of his jab, and I think he's going to pick him off, mate. I think he's going to work that body. May even get a submission, he may even pull that Darce off, gas him out a bit, pull off a Darce choke or something like that. But I definitely think Tony's going to win like TKO or submission. What
round? Because I'm going to put a bet on it. Down to you.
I'm going to say, do you know what? I'm going to throw out there, man. I'm going to say 3rd round. 3rd round. All
right. If I lose, if I win, you'll have a package of some munchies coming to you. Well, good. And one more to ask you about as well is obviously. Shows how stacked the card is. On the prelims, we got Ferguson versus we got Pettis versus Cerrone, which is unbelievable on a prelim. Like, what do you see happening there?
Cerrone winning. Yeah, Cerrone. I reckon Cerrone decision. Cerrone decision. I think he's going to want that. He's going to want that. He was going to want to get that win back against Ferguson against Pettis. Right, and I think he's been more active as well. I mean, he's always super active anyway. But I feel like, saying that actually, I mean, Pettis just chinned Wonderboy like last year, didn't he?
Yeah, that was amazing.
But I think Cerrone's got it in the bag. I think Cerrone by decision. I I also think Cruz is going to beat. I think Cruz is going to beat Cejudo.
Yeah, of course. Cruz Cejudo. Do you know, I've always liked Dominic Cruz anyway, mate. I've loved his style of fighting and everything, and he's a lot taller than Cejudo as well.
A lot taller than Cejudo, mate. And I think Cejudo had problems with that Moraes first round, but Moraes is a gas bag. He gassed out. So I think Cruz is just going to. I reckon Cruz is going to win by decision, mate. I think he's just going to jab his lips off for all the rounds, mate. That's what I think. 5 rounds.
Going to a Dominic Cruz style fight like he did against Dillashaw, mate. He loves coming back, winning his title, but he's never actually. I know he did lose his title, didn't he? Sorry, against Cody Garbrandt, didn't he?
He lost to Garbrandt, yeah. Lost it to Garbrandt.
And look what's happened to Garbrandt now. I don't think he's won in 4 fights or something. Do you know what I mean? So,
I know, shame. It's a shame. It's a shame.
Yeah, man. But end of the day, mate, you'll be up there with them one day, mate. Don't worry about it. You can take Cejudo on, mate. Just cut back on those fucking cinnamon buns. You know what I mean?
Mate, I'll have to chop both my legs off to make that way.
Like, he's an amazing fighter. He's done really well. I'll give him that. But the guy cringes me out completely.
Oh my god, he's annoying, isn't he? He's annoying. That's why I want Cruz to punish him for all this stupid shit he's been doing, mate, on like social media and how he goes on like an absolute idiot.
Calling out the female division for an intergender championship.
I know, mate. It's not even funny though. Like, I don't know if that's like American humor or what it is, but that's just not funny.
Like, I'm going to go bash a woman. I reckon Valentin, was it Shevchenko he caught it? I can't remember who it was now, but I reckon she would have knocked him out anyway.
She would have chinned him, spinning heel, fucking head kicked him, mate.
Put Amanda Nunes in, I wouldn't fight her.
Yeah, Amanda Nunes, yeah. She'd be coming out guns blazing, wouldn't she? He's only about 4 foot or something, mate. They're all much bigger than him.
Yeah, I know, mate. He wants to hope the flyweight division sticks around, mate. You know what I mean?
He is gonna. Yeah, he wants that. I mean, I'll tell you what other fight actually I'm interested in is Calvin Kattar versus Jeremy Stephens.
Oh, both of them are just going to kick the shit out of each other.
I reckon Calvin Kattar is going to catch him slipping, man. I reckon he's just going to absolutely chin Jeremy Stephens, mate. I think his boxing's too good. I think he's too rangy. Boxing's way too good, mate. I reckon he's going to chin Stephens.
Yeah, man, there's such a stacked card. You've got the Ngannou's back fighting as well, and you've got Verdum versus Alexei Olin. I can't say his name. Olinik. You know the guy?
Yeah.
You know the guy who does all the
Ezekiel shows. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, all the Ezekiel shows. I got Verdum for that one as well.
I don't think he'd be able to submit Verdum. I think Verdum.
Definitely not. I don't think you're going to be able to hang with Verdum. I think Verdum's too good everywhere for him, to be honest with you. I think Verdum's got that one in the bag.
Yeah, I think you're right as well. But imagine if he pulls off Ezekiel on his back against Verdum. That'd just be like, you're the best jiu-jitsu fighter ever in the UFC.
Yeah, I reckon all the Brazilians are gonna hate on Verdum for forever. They're gonna take his Brazilian citizenship away from him. He's gonna be Brazilian no more. If he gets Ezekiel choked from the bottom, that'd be crazy.
That's got to be some fucking squeeze, man.
Yeah.
Imagine that, mate. But we'll have to wait and see, man. But
we'll have to wait and see.
James, mate, I'll be honest with you. It's been nice to, no disrespect, because I live with the wife, obviously, but it's been nice to see another face. You know, it's nice to chat.
Likewise, mate. Likewise.
You know, like, I walked down the road and saw a mate driving by. He stopped in his car, just rolled down the window. Thought, "Fuck me, human interaction." But yeah, mate, I can't wait to see you come back, mate, and obviously carry on your undefeated streak. And mate, I'm saying this time, I reckon if things pick up, so let's say things are up and running in a few months, I think this time I'll be talking to you next year, mate, and you'll either be having a strap or fighting for one, mate. I honestly believe that. And you know, you're fighting the way it should. You're beating all the people they chuck at you, and you can't really complain, mate. You've been in Cage Warriors your whole pro career, pretty much, and not padded it one little bit, mate. So you can't. You know what I mean, man? So can't wait to see it next Cage Warriors, man. And I'll hopefully be there backstage, mate, as well.
Sweet, mate.
As well, man. But
yeah, sweet.
Before I let you go, then, mate, just give a shout out, man, to anyone you want to give a shout out to, helps you get to where you are, sponsors, all that sort of stuff, man. Social media.
Yeah, I'll just give a shout out to all my training partners at TFT. Shout out to the head coach. We got Andrew Fisher, Dean Hammersinger. Shout out to GK1 Striking. Northeast Jiu Jitsu helped me out. Ellis, all them boys through there, they all helped me out. So yeah, that's it, mate.
And if you're listening, the company's Cinnabon, whatever they're called, mate.
Oh, Cinnabon, yeah. Hit me up. Our sponsorship, Cinnabon sponsorship. If you're looking for someone to sponsor, I'll be that guy.
Every interview there'll be a Cinnabon, like, yeah. Right, mate.
It'll be sweet.
Well, look after yourself, mate.
Yeah, you too, mate.
look forward to chatting to you in the future, fella.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, James. Bye, mate.